The silent departure. Ambassador Mira Chen stood at the observation deck of the Galactic Conclave station, watching the swirling nebula beyond. Her reflection in the transparent aluminum revealed the tension in her face, a tension she couldn't afford to show to any of the 17 alien species that governed this sector of the galaxy. Behind her, footsteps approached, the distinctive three-beat cadence of High Commissioner Toril. Ambassador Chen, the Vexillian's voice resonated with the harmonic undertones typical of his species. The Security Council has reached its decision. Mira turned, her diplomatic training keeping her expression neutral despite the dread in her stomach. I trust the Conclave has given Earth's petition due consideration. Commissioner. Soril's four eyes blinked in sequence. A gesture Mira had learned indicated mild amusement. Indeed, the Council recognizes humanity's potential, but also its unpredictability. Your species has advanced too rapidly, consumed too voraciously, and expanded too ambitiously for a civilization barely 3 centuries into its interstellar phase. Progress is our nature, Mira replied carefully, as is adaptation. And that is precisely the concern. Soril extended a data crystal. The Council has authorized the Rehabilitation Initiative. Earth will receive substantial technological upgrades in exchange for accepting oversight of your developmental pathways. Mira accepted the crystal, recognizing the weight of the moment. Inside this innocent-looking shard was the formal declaration of humanity's subjugation, dressed up in diplomatic niceties and promises of advancement. The Rehabilitation Initiative was the Conclave's standard approach to species they deemed problematic. It had happened to the Centaurians and the Altair Collective before them. Both were now docile, productive members of the Conclave, their cultures hollowed out and replaced with optimized social structures. I will present this to Earth's government immediately, she said, the practiced words flowing despite her revulsion. How long before the Council expects our response? 3 standard cycles, Soril replied. The implementation fleet has already been dispatched to Sol System as a gesture of our commitment to Earth's improvement. 3 days. The fleet was already moving. Mira bowed in the formal Vexillian manner. The people of Earth appreciate the Conclave's interest in our well-being. As Toril departed, Mira's neural implant vibrated with an incoming priority transmission. She moved to her private quarters, activated the quantum-encrypted channel, and watched as the hologram of Admiral Helena Voss materialized. They've made their move, Mira said without preamble. Admiral Voss's weathered face hardened. Timeline. 3 days until they expect an answer. Their fleet is already en route. Then we initiate Phoenix Protocol, Voss said. Return to Earth immediately, Ambassador. The final phase begins now. Within hours, Mira's diplomatic shuttle was speeding toward Earth. As they dropped out of FTL at the edge of the Sol system, she beheld her homeworld one last time from space. The swirling blue and white marble that had cradled humanity since its first breath. How many more times would she see it like this? Perhaps never again. The shuttle descended through Earth's atmosphere to the United Earth Government headquarters in New Geneva. Unlike the ornate chambers of the Galactic Conclave, this was a utilitarian war room buried deep beneath the Alps. The leaders of humanity's various factions were already assembled. Military, scientific, colonial, and administrative. Ambassador Chen. Admiral Voss acknowledged as Mira entered. Your intelligence has been accurate at every stage. The Conclave has played their hand exactly as predicted. They never considered we might refuse their generosity, Mira replied, taking her seat at the circular table. Their arrogance blinds them. Director Zhang of Colonial Affairs projected a holographic display of Earth and the surrounding space. Phoenix Protocol is now at Phase 4. The operation has been underway for 18 months, ever since we intercepted communications about the rehabilitation evaluation. The display zoomed out, revealing the network of wormhole generators positioned throughout the solar system. 93% of Earth's population has already been evacuated through the quantum corridors, General Santos of the United Earth Defense Force reported. The remaining 7% are essential personnel maintaining the illusion of normal planetary operations, and they'll depart in the final wave. Dr. Elisa Makiba, head of Project Phoenix, stepped forward. The quantum mirage technology is fully operational. Once activated, the Conclave's sensors will detect a fully inhabited Earth, complete with communication signals, heat signatures, and atmospheric composition consistent with our presence. Mira marveled at the scale of the deception and our destination. Admiral Voss expanded the holographic display to reveal a star cluster far from Conclave space. The threshold systems, 7 interconnected worlds we've been secretly terraforming for the past 70 years. Beyond their detection capabilities and outside established trade routes, humanity will rebuild there, beyond the Conclave's reach. We've already transferred our industrial capacity, scientific facilities, and cultural archives, added Director John. What remains is the final population transfer and the activation of the quantum mirage. What about the Conclave fleet? Mira asked. They'll arrive to find what appears to be a compliant Earth, ready to accept their rehabilitation, Admiral Voss explained. By the time they realize they're interacting with a sophisticated holographic simulation, the trail will be cold. General Santos checked his timepiece. The final evacuation wave begins in 6 hours. Ambassador Chen, we need you to return to the Conclave station to maintain the illusion until the last moment. Mira straightened. I understood my role from the beginning, General. I'll keep them distracted. As the meeting concluded, Mira found herself alone with Admiral Voss in the observation dome. Beyond the reinforced glass, the Alps stretched in magnificent grandeur, mountains that had witnessed the rise and fall of countless human empires, and would soon stand silent witness to humanity's greatest gambit. We're abandoning our homeworld, Mira said softly. We're preserving our freedom, Voss corrected. Earth is just a planet. Humanity is what matters. And if they find us, Voss's gaze was steady. Then we'll be ready. The technologies we've kept hidden from the Conclave, the quantum corridor, the gravitic drives, the neural networking. They believe we're centuries away from these advancements. We've played the role of the promising but underdeveloped species while preparing for this moment. Across Earth, the final phase of Phoenix Protocol unfolded with precision. In thousands of evacuation centers, the remaining population passed through shimmering quantum corridors to their new homes among the threshold systems. Industrial complexes, already hollowed out, ran on automated systems that would continue to produce electronic signatures of activity. Wildlife preservation units had already transferred genetic samples of Earth's biodiversity. Mira's diplomatic shuttle lifted off 6 hours later, ostensibly returning her to the Conclave station to deliver Earth's official response. In reality, her course would divert to a hidden quantum corridor once beyond scanning range. Her mission, to be humanity's final ambassador, to convince the Conclave that Earth was still inhabited and compliant for as long as possible. As the shuttle broke atmosphere, Mira looked back at the receding Earth. In evacuation centers across the planet, the last humans were stepping through quantum corridors. In orbit, the massive quantum mirage generators were powering up, ready to cast their illusion. In just hours, Earth would become empty of human life for the first time in millions of years. Phoenix Actual to Diplomatic Shuttle. Admiral Voss's voice came through the secure channel. Final evacuation complete. Quantum mirage activating. You are the last human in the Sol system, Ambassador. Safe journey. Mira watched as Earth seemed to shimmer slightly as the quantum mirage activated, a perfect replica of human civilization projected over the now empty planet. To any observer, Earth continued to bustle with life, its cities illuminated, its communications networks active. Acknowledged, Phoenix Actual, Mira replied. I'll keep them looking at the magician's right hand while the left completes the trick. Her shuttle accelerated toward the designated coordinates where a final quantum corridor awaited her passage. Behind her, Earth, humanity's cradle, spun on, seemingly unchanged but profoundly empty. In the void between stars, The Conclave implementation fleet continued its journey toward Sol, unaware they were approaching the greatest disappearing act in galactic history. The empty cradle. High Arbiter, cell of the Galactic Conclave, paced the bridge of the flagship Inevitable Progress, his taloned feet clicking against the polished floor. The holographic display showed Earth, appearing exactly as expected. A vibrant blue planet with the artificial lights of human civilization, clearly visible on its night side. "Status report," he commanded. Science Officer Neri consulted her instruments. All readings consistent with standard human activity. Arbiter. Atmospheric composition normal. Communication patterns within expected parameters. Thermal signatures indicate typical population centers. Zell nodded, 8 eyes blinking in sequence. The rehabilitation initiative for Earth was proceeding according to plan. The human government had accepted the Conclave's ultimatum with surprising grace. Ambassador Chen had returned to the Conclave station with formal acceptance documents, then departed again for Earth to assist with the transition. Establish orbital position and prepare the implementation teams. Zell ordered. Begin the first phase of cultural integration protocols. The massive Conclave fleet moved into Earth orbit, deploying smaller vessels toward major population centers. The first shuttles descended into Earth's atmosphere, heading for New Geneva where the human leadership awaited. Aboard the command shuttle, Implementation Director Varric reviewed the rehabilitation protocols one final time. The humans would receive carefully controlled technological upgrades, enough to make them feel privileged, but nothing that would give them true parity with Conclave species. Meanwhile, their educational systems, media networks, and cultural institutions would be subtly restructured to instill Conclave values. Within 3 generations, Earth would be fully integrated, another success story in the Conclave's long history of elevating troublesome species. The shuttle broke through low clouds, revealing the sprawling complex of New Geneva below. Varric frowned. Something seemed wrong. The landing coordinates showed the central government plaza, but the shuttle's sensors weren't detecting the expected reception committee. "Scanning anomaly," reported the pilot. "No biological signatures detected at the landing zone." "Expand scan radius," Varric ordered. The pilot complied. "No biological signatures within 5 kilometers, Director. But environmental systems are operational. Structures appear intact." "That's impossible," Varric muttered. "There should be thousands of humans in this complex alone." The shuttle landed in the empty plaza. Armed security drones deployed first, scanning the surroundings. Varric followed cautiously, stepping onto Earth soil for the first time. The air was breathable, the temperature comfortable. The government buildings stood intact, but there was no sign of human life. "Search the complex," he ordered the security team. The reports came back quickly. Building after building stood empty. Offices with workstations still powered, residential units with furniture and personal items, but no occupants. Food in stasis units remained fresh. Environmental systems ran perfectly. It was as if the population had simply vanished. Across Earth, the same scene repeated. Conclave implementation teams found cities intact but empty. Transportation networks operational but vacant. Factories running on automation. Farms tended by robots. Everywhere, the infrastructure of human civilization continued to function, but humans themselves were nowhere to be found. On the Inevitable Progress, High Arbiter Cell received the impossible reports with growing alarm. "How can an entire planetary population disappear?" he demanded. 8 billion sentients don't simply vanish. Science Officer Neri's tendrils twisted in distress. "The quantum signatures are unusual, Arbiter. It's as if we're detecting echoes rather than actual readings. I've never seen anything like it." "Deception," Cell hissed. "The humans have deployed some kind of massive cloaking technology." "Impossible," stated the Technology Assessment Officer. "Human technological development is at least a century away from planetary-scale quantum manipulation." But the evidence was irrefutable. Expanded scans confirmed it. Not a single human remained on Earth or anywhere in the Sol system. The orbital habitats were empty, the lunar colonies abandoned, the Mars settlements deserted. Even the outer system mining operations had been evacuated. In the New Geneva complex, Director Varick discovered the central government chamber. On the main display wall, a single message pulsed. The cradle is empty. The child has learned to walk. Varick's communicator chimed. Director, we've found something in what appears to be their historical archive. In a vast underground chamber, the implementation team had discovered a holographic interface. When activated, it projected a life-sized image of Ambassador Mira Chen. Greetings, representatives of the Galactic Conclave. The recording began. If you are viewing this message, you have discovered that humanity has departed Earth. We thank you for your generous offer of rehabilitation, but we have chosen a different path. The hologram smiled, a gesture that Varick now found deeply unsettling. For 2 centuries, we have maintained the facade of a developing species while preparing for this moment. The technologies we secretly developed, quantum corridor transportation, matter-energy conversion, gravitic manipulation, have allowed us to relocate our entire civilization. By the time you view this message, the image shifted, showing what appeared to be star charts, but with coordinates deliberately obscured. Earth remains as our legacy, the cradle of humanity, preserved exactly as we left it. You may study it, settle it, or destroy it as you wish. But know this, we are watching. Should the Conclave ever attempt to pursue humanity again, you will discover that we have abandoned more than just our childish obedience. The message ended, leaving the Conclave team in stunned silence. Within hours, the news reached the highest levels of the Conclave leadership. Emergency sessions were convened. The implications were staggering. Not only had humans escaped rehabilitation, but they had possessed technological capabilities far beyond what the Conclave had assessed. If humans could develop quantum corridor technology in secret, what other advancements had they concealed? Search vessels were dispatched in all directions, seeking any trace of humanity's exodus. But the quantum corridors had left no trail to follow. The humans had simply stepped sideways out of known space. 1 year later, High Commissioner Torrell stood in the mostly abandoned chambers of the Security Council. The Earth rehabilitation failure had shaken the Conclave to its foundations. Multiple species had withdrawn from the Alliance, questioning the leadership's competence. Others demanded reforms, suggesting that perhaps forced rehabilitation was not the wisest approach to emerging civilizations. Any word from the search fleets? Asked Counselor Mrev of the Centaurian delegation, one of the few remaining loyalists. Nothing, Sorrel admitted. It's as if humanity simply ceased to exist. Yet we know they continue to watch us, Mrev replied uneasily. That much was true. Twice now, Conclave vessels had detected brief quantum signatures matching Earth technology in distant sectors. Each time, investigation found only emptiness, but also strange anomalies in their ship's navigation and weapons systems afterward. The humans were sending a message. We see you, but you cannot see us. We underestimated them, Sorrel acknowledged. We thought them children playing with technologies beyond their understanding. Instead, they were adults pretending to be children, completed Mrev. The question now is what they intend to do with their freedom. In the vastness of uncharted space, beyond the reach of Conclave sensors, humanity had indeed found its freedom. The threshold systems had become home to the billions who had passed through the quantum corridors. 7 worlds, interconnected by instantaneous transport, provided abundant resources and living space. Cities rose on virgin continents. Farms spread across fertile plains. Research facilities pushed the boundaries of science even further. In the central chamber of the Unity complex on New Terra Prime, Admiral Helena Voss, now President Voss, addressed the Transitional Council. 1 year since Exodus, she noted, our new home flourishes. The quantum mirage on Earth continues to function, though the Conclave has undoubtedly realized its nature by now. Director Zhang of Colonial Affairs displayed the progress statistics. Population adaptation at 94% success rate. Resource self-sufficiency achieved in all critical sectors. Cultural preservation initiatives completed. The terraforming of the outer worlds proceeds ahead of schedule. And defense capabilities? Asked Councilor Rodriguez. General Santos stepped forward. The perimeter early warning system is operational. Quantum disruption fields surround all 7 worlds. Should the Conclave somehow find us, they would face technologies they cannot comprehend. Mira Chen, now serving as Director of External Relations, studied the galactic map. Tiny probes, quantum observers, monitored conclave activities throughout known space, transmitting data through corridors too small for ships but sufficient for information. The conclave fractures, she reported. Their failure with Earth has exposed the flaws in their approach. Several member species now question the ethics of forced rehabilitation. And our response? Asked President Voss. Mira considered carefully. We've proven we can walk away. Perhaps now we should consider what happens when we return. The council chamber fell silent. The idea of re-engaging with galactic society, not as subjects but as equals, was both tantalizing and terrifying. Not yet, Voss decided finally. Let the conclave wonder. Let them search. Let them fear what they cannot find. When we do reveal ourselves, it will be from a position of absolute strength. On an observation platform overlooking the capital city of New Terra Prime, Mira stood alone that evening, watching the unfamiliar stars. Somewhere out there, Earth continued its silent orbit around a yellow star, empty of human life, but still broadcasting its quantum illusion of civilization.